All right, I am live streaming this one and it'll go on the podcast because there's a couple things that have been coming up recently that are necessary to get recorded, we'll say. So I'm just going to look at the screen. If people leave comments, I'll reply after. I just like to be able to focus and have a stream of wisdom. Okay, so get ready for a stream of wisdom. Put on your life vest, get your floaties, and we're going to go down the river together because where this river's headed, it's going to get a little treacherous, but that's cool because that's some of the excitement of life right there. Okay, so I just got off training with my dear friend Drake and the people in the self-perfected group. And we were talking about something called self-trust. And self-trust is something that is, I mean, man, if you don't have it, you're screwed. It's going to be really, really tough for you to go through life. And yes, now, but also where things are headed. I'll open it up with this, but really it's like the whole purpose of this live stream here is about helping you really have a brutal, honest look at your life. And like, are you ready to change and are you going to change in time? Or are you just going to keep going thinking, okay, everything's fine. Everything's good enough. It's good enough, until one day you're blindsided abruptly. So here's some pointers and some stories and just some really cool stuff that I've been seeing recently that, is just cutting edge. If you stay to the end, you're going to be able to really see how you can navigate the change in your life and in this world in a way where you can really like get ahead from it. And you can not just get ahead for yourself and your family, but you can also then really support other people. Like I had multiple conversations today with individuals who have kids and they're looking at the state of the world and they like are either homeschooling or they want to homeschool and they're not really sure what to do. They realize that their stuff is messed up and they're like just honestly wanting to change. And this is literally what I live for, is to help people who are in that position where they're honest enough with themselves to realize this isn't going well. Like, yeah, sure, my life might be fine. I might be making some decent money, but the state of the world, the future of humanity is really looking sketchy. I mean, I watched this. Okay, I'll start with this. I was watching this video the other day of this woman. I don't even know if I can call her a woman, but she looked like a woman. And she was like I think it was the Oregon State Court. And she had the mic and it was like, those videos you see of people who are like testifying or whatever in front of some government body. And she was just screaming. She was screaming over it. And she's like, I hate you. I hate you. Just screaming like a child throwing a temper tantrum. And that was like what my newsfeed was showing me. I mean, talk about the falling apart of society. That's a glimpse of it. And I know some people are just going to listen to this and go, yeah, well, I just got to get back to my, cryptocurrency. I got to get back to my, copywriting or whatever. It's like, okay, you can only live in your little bubble for so long because it's going to burst and the shit that's happening around the world is going to show up on your door. So this is called the principle of prevention, because deep down, you actually do care about people. Deep down, you actually do want to create a better world. Like deep down, that it would be really cool if we can improve the lives of everyone in the world, and you just don't yet know how. Some of you watching this do know how because we do have a plan. And some of you don't. You never heard of it, or you never even heard of me. So if you haven't heard of me or been watching what I've been putting out, everything I do is all about really helping people uncover that the most important purpose we can all have for ourselves is we got to sort shit out in reality. Like the education system is very broken. The political system is very broken. The media, the culture, society is all programming us to be brainwashed robots who just care about dopamine and just care about our self-interest. That is the world that we're creating right now, and it's going to get way worse. So now I want to talk a little bit about some stuff I've learned about AI recently. AI is unlike anything we've ever created. I'm not here to fearmonger or doom and gloom, anything like that. But there was a talk given by Yuval Noah Harari, who's regarded as one of the most, intelligent philosophers of our age. He wrote some books, Sapiens and Homo Deus, and some other 21 Rules for 20th Century, something like that. He recently gave a talk at the Frontiers Forum, and he was talking about how AI is not just now able to influence and do the chat. The real danger of AI is its ability to hack into intimacy. So can you imagine when there's a chatbot that knows you better than anyone else? Or you're chatting with let's say a customer service rep, or someone reaches out to you online and they're like some influencer and you're like, wow, this is so cool. They're reaching out to me. And then they start chatting with you and they know every last little point of you to get you to feel like attached to them. And then they start feeding you information like who to vote for, or what products to buy, or what groups to be part of. Can you imagine when there's an artificial intelligence that's able to do this to the masses? This is what's coming. The 2024 election is going to really, really mess with people. 2028 and beyond, we can't even see that far ahead, really. There is so many changes happening. Here's another example of how AI is getting dangerous. There are these filters. It's on Snapchat, and I'm not really on Snapchat, but there's Instagram filters and just other platforms that have this. And there's some filters like on Facebook where you put it on and it makes your face look like a dog or whatever, right? And you can kind of tell because there's like some slippage with it, and you can see it's like, oh, that's on top of you. There's AI now that literally takes all the pixels on the screen and it changes all of them based on an algorithm to make you look quote unquote beautiful. And this is messing with young girls so much, and other women, I'm sure there are guys too, where now women are getting plastic surgery because they don't like how they naturally look and they want to look more like the AI version of themselves. This is happening today. Can you imagine in 5 years what this turns into? If you have a daughter or there's any little kid you care about, this is the world they're about to inherit. And some people still have the audacity to just care about, well, I just got to make sure I can pay my bill. Like, I get it. If you're in financial pressure and all that, yes, you do have to take care of yourself. And at the same time, here's the great news. You can literally fix your financial problems and make a lot of money, whether it's part-time or full-time, in solving this issue. It's all come together. There's always a solution. But the solution is not just some new cryptocurrency or some bullshit. There's a process by which there's a big re-education happening in society. And it's really summed up in this question here is, do you want to be a slave to the old system, or do you want to be a partner in the new world? That is the question to ponder. And really, like, I know some of you are just gonna be like, oh, obviously, like, we need to like create a new, like, we need something new. Okay, cool. Now, it's one thing for you to have your idea about that. It's another thing to have the common sense plan. That's the purpose of this video or this audio if you're listening to the audio. Okay. So with AI as well, I keep sharing this because people are sleeping on this and they're programmed to just think like linearly and they can't see this. Goldman Sachs, one of the biggest banks in the world, their analysts just put this out. It was like a month ago now. How many jobs they are predicting are going to be lost to AI? 300 million are going to be lost to AI. 300 million. You know how many people live in America? 300 million. And if you're the kind of person that's like, oh, well, we'll create new jobs. One, you probably didn't even make it that far in this audio. But for those of you listening to this, I'm more so empowering you because you're going to come up against people that are going to give that objection. Like, well, it's just every job, that's lost or creates a new job. That's not how this works. When you have enough self-driving cars, all those people who are driving trucks and Instacart and all that, they have to get reskilled. Sure, there are going to be certain jobs, but the jobs are going to be in re-educating humanity, helping people get really, really smart. When they have the AI software that can take sales calls better than you can, there goes your sales job. The only thing that will not be able to be replaced is in-person education. And I don't just mean school. School is on the decline. It's if you're still thinking going to college to get a degree is like a really safe plan for the future and getting student loans for that, I'm glad you're listening to this because that is not a viable plan anymore. I mean, I have kids who went to university with me, grown-ups now. They spent 30, 40 grand a year, and now they're working at Starbucks as a barista, or they're driving Uber. Both of those are going to be automated. It's Starbucks responsibility. It's called a fiduciary responsibility, and they have to make the most profit for their shareholders. Same thing with Uber. It's just a matter of time before those jobs are gone, or it's primarily automated through AI. And then there's a few staff working there because Starbucks might want to have that in-person touch. Okay, great. So you want to be a barista the rest of your life, or do you want to get rich? Do you want to get out of the middle class? Because what is happening right now is there's a collapse of the middle class. And things are being proposed, like the Great Reset, Agenda 2030, all of that. And it's under the guise of, oh, it's for social equity and social impact. When in reality, you can look up the articles on what the World Economic Forum stands for. And it's all like this rented economy. It's bullshit. When you don't own stuff, you don't respect things. Like imagine how much you care when you go to Airbnb and you're just like renting it for the weekend, or you rent an apartment and you like mess up the wall, or you like spill stuff on the floor, or you like have the shower on without the fan. So you know it's going to like create mold if you keep doing it, but you don't own the place. You don't really care. But like my wife and I own this home that we're in. There's a level of care that I give to it that I hadn't in the past homes that I rented. Like imagine with a society when more and more people don't have jobs, they're offered a universal basic income. Like that's the world we're creating. And more people are waking up to it, which is actually really cool. Okay. But there's like a perfect storm happening right now. And you can either be in the eye of the storm where it's calm, stable, and you can actually have fun, or you're going to be stuck on the outside and it's going to be like hell. Because we're not yet really seeing the effects of this stuff. And some of you, it's going to take you losing your job, or losing your job and then not being able to find a job. And then, hey, maybe you'll end up at one of our offices because we're hiring. Like we're growing rapidly with what we're doing at Techno Tutor. Like we have offices in, I don't know how many cities now, but we have plenty of work. I was at an event last night and we had 6, 7 new families that are all really interested in what we're doing. And we're in these homeschooling co-ops now, and we're finding people that are just like, look, I've been looking for you. So there's no shortage of opportunity if you know how to go in person, talk to people, and provide a real solution with education. And what we do in educating, we're like the teachers of the new world, teachers of humanity. I won't even use the word new world because some of y'all conspiracy people get triggered. You're like, oh, new world order. Hell no. It's the new world, in that the old world we've had is collapsing. And we need a lot of people to be self-leaders, to step up, have real influence in the system. Imagine having 5,000 people thinking on this level, all of us working together. We'll have money, businesses, resources, assets, and then we all pool our money together, and then we buy Twitter, or something like that. Elon Musk is going to change it to be called X. He has these Tesla bots, and he's talking about how having not just the Tesla bots. Okay, think about this. People don't even realize this. All those Tesla factories, apparently those gigafactories, one of them it either already is or is set to be the biggest building in the world. And right now you're like, oh, cool, Tesla. Yeah, electric cars. That's great. Guess why else they're building those factories? Robots, Tesla bots. They're a thing. I think it's called Optimus. Look it up. Elon's alluding to the fact that we're going to have millions of these things. Are you ready for that world? Are your kids ready for that world? Like, there's something called the rubber band effect, which I think might help here. It's like you're getting stretched right now hearing this because you're like, this shit seems like some movie, and then you just tune out. But that spark of life within you, that awareness within you, can still hear the common sense of what I'm saying. This is the most important thing that you can be thinking about, is what are you going to do to prepare yourself, your family, if you have family, your community, and this world, because we are in this together. And I remember 3.5 years ago when I was like thinking about this stuff somewhat, but I was like just caring about my e-commerce company. I was like, oh yeah, let me just run Facebook ads and I'll get rich and then I'll change the world. I'll get rich and then I'll like start a charity or something. Programming. And I remember I was in a hotel suite in Denver, Colorado at an event, and I met a handful of people that were these educators that are here to change the world. Again, not through school. We can disrupt school, we can change school, but real learning doesn't happen in school through memorizing and raising your hand. Real education is every single word you can spell, process, and comprehend. I'll say that again. Real education is every single word that you can spell. You can literally write it out. You know what a spell is? You know, like in magic, how they talk about a spell? Spelling is much more than just spelling, pen and paper. It's like your ability to use that word to create reality with it, to use it effectively, to build on all of your context and understanding of the world, and then to use that to influence other people and support other people and connect with other people so we can thus create a better reality. That's what it means to spell. And process, every single word you can process. Probably a lot of these words that I'm even saying in this, you are not processing it, really. Your mind has been organized like a scattered drawer of files in no particular order. But now imagine if every single file or every single word or concept you ever learned was perfectly accurately mapped to reality. And you had that. And then instantly, in the moment when you hear the word, there's no glitch. It's just like, yep, I hear you. I got you. It's like if I said 1 + 1 is 2. Did you have to think about it? Now, do you know why what 1 + 1 = 2? Probably not. But nonetheless, it's like, it's an automatic understanding. That's our life. And you may not be processing that much, actually, but it's cool. Like, you're here, you're hearing this. And then, so education is every single word you can spell, process, or deal with, you could say, and then comprehend, meaning you can fit it into your greater worldview and the worldview of reality, because we all do share a reality. However exciting the multiverse theories are and all the shit with, Joe Rogan's talking about on his podcast of, there's multiple realities and consciousness creates reality. No, it doesn't. Reality's here. Your thoughts influence reality, but your thought doesn't create reality. Your thought influences reality. Okay. That's called real comprehension of what's going on. And you can have that too, because then you are a creator, which is so cool. You create through your words. Create through your words, the words you know and you understand, and then the words that you bring into the world. Like, imagine you're living the word courage versus you're living the word fear. You can see how that's a different living of the word, right? That's the real process. And so how does this fit together? How does AI and these epidemics with how much society's getting messed up and you fit into education, fit into opportunity, fit into you being able to be a business owner where you can actually have real, sustainable, passive income and provide real value to people in a long-lasting way? Because specifically, what I work on, many of you know this, many of you haven't heard of this yet, is TechnoTutor. It's probably one of the most, it is the most valuable education tool on the planet and the most valuable network. It is also something that a lot of people just hear it and they're like, okay, this is cool. This makes sense. Some people hear it and they're not, it doesn't click. And then a few people react to it. So they go, what do you mean I can learn that quickly? No, you have to go to school. You have to get a diploma. My dad's a professor. My mom's does this. You have to go to school for 8 hours a day. You have to socialize. And people can go haywire hearing about this, that you can literally get more education in a 20-minute session than many people do in a whole week at school. And right now, there's a 6-year-old kid who I know. I could call him on the phone right now and I could talk to him. His name's Max. And recently, in one 24-hour period, he read 1,100 pages out of like teenage level books. And he can comprehend all of it. He can tell you, he could talk for hours on what he learned and what he read and what that means. And he's still a little kid. He still plays with paint and runs around and just has fun. but we have that in a ton of kids. My other friend, he was at his house the other day, and this guy came door knocking on his door, right? And he's like trying to sell him pest control or something. And my friend's like hearing him out. So, okay, sure. Yeah, tell me about what you do. And then he actually started chatting with him, because it turns out the guy who was knocking the doors, I believe he had a kid, right? He was like passionate about, maybe he had like niece, nephew or something. So then they started talking about education, because it's actually the most important thing. How are we educating our kids? It's the future of the world, and it's the most important thing for you as an individual. Like real education is like changing yourself, real self-development. And the door knocker guy, he like starts talking to my friend's son about, reading or education or whatever. His son leaves the room, comes back a few minutes later with a book. His son could process the fact, he's 2, that this stranger, quote unquote, at the door is asking me about reading. I'm going to go get a book. It is like words of the day. And he starts reading out of the book to him at 2. Okay. This might go over some of your heads, but if you understand how AI works, well, this specific version of AI that's getting very popular, it's called large language models. And it's basically where you have a bunch of text put together, and then it has this predictive ability. So it could predict basically what text would make sense. That's like ChatGPT and Bard and all these other ones, right? And a lot of these people are coming out now saying, and that Yuval Noah Harari talk I was talking about earlier, it's really good. It's like called Frontier Forums or something like that. You should listen to it. And then he's talking all about, it's all language. It's all language. Remember earlier what I was talking about education? Every single word you can spell, process, and comprehend. Consider this. You can make yourself or your kids into a large language model of your own choosing, of how you want them to be. I'm going to encourage you, program them with principles, support them with principles, help them to see, oh, it would make sense for me to actually live the golden rule, give as I like to receive. Oh, it would make sense for us to end suffering in the world. And that's more important than just me traveling to Thailand and just chasing my own happiness. Like, we have things very backwards in the world. Yet we have the solution, creating a whole generation of genius kids. That's what my wife works on with our son every single day. Today I walked past them. They were downstairs in the office, and we're going through some more of the alphabet with Aristotle, but also just some words as we're preparing for our upcoming trip to San Diego. The word like beach, ocean, whatever. And my wife's teaching Aristotle these using Technotutor. He's 7 months old. And again, some people react to that. They're like, let your kid be a kid. It's like, he's still a kid. Don't worry. But he's going to be a genius. And these people that are just like the nitpickers, like, it's so fun. It's just like, you can have the best product or the best thing in the world, and like 3% of people just react to you. Like, no matter what, just because you have certainty in something, because they don't have certainty in anything and they don't stand for anything. So then they'll just try and tear you down. And it's so funny because my son is going to be smarter than those people. And we're going to have many kids. Like, there are people who just choose to fight for their own limitations. And I feel bad for them. And down the road, when they want a job because they can't find a job and they're tired of their universal basic income, you can come work with us. I don't hold a grudge. But sometimes you have to have a really rude awakening from life. And welcome the rude awakening. Because the quicker you can do that, the quicker you can deal with reality. It's like if you had cancer. Wouldn't you want to know ASAP if you had cancer so you can actually heal it? Or do you want to just live in delusion? That's like right now as humanity, what we're creating with these AIs and just culture and everything is getting really, really out of hand. This is your wake-up call saying, wake up. I'm going to keep talking about this stuff. I mean, it's been awesome. Like, business has been growing. Like, we have tons of people coming to the Self-Perfected event in San Diego. Like, it's literally our own version of Davos, but it's with people who actually care and don't want to just try and control the world. If you don't know what Davos is, you should do some research. Okay. So for those of you who can hear this, I title this, Will You Change in Time? And the real thing of, like, will you change in time is at some point, you're going to lose your job. There's going to be some robot, some AI that can do it better, or it's going to disrupt something, which is then going to have a chain reaction to you. And the way to prepare is 1, education. You have a big enough vocabulary, you know, to provide enough value, you can help people really solve this problem. You will never have to worry about work or money. That's owning a business. That's a certain vocabulary level. That's what I work on every single day. If you want to know how to make 15K a month recurring, I'll show you how to do that. You can make way more than that. And you can do it literally solving these problems. So hit me up on that. And then also you can support these families. There's another family that I was working with yesterday, and the parents got Technotutor and they started on it right away. And then we did a breakdown for all their kids. So now they got a game plan. They have, you know, decent amount of kids. And now they all got a homeschooling plan. And it's awesome. And it's customized and it's tailored to them. And they got to spend 15, 20 minutes a day learning. Like, how cool is that? Imagine if learning was fun. And then for those who go, well, the kids got to socialize. Guess what? There's events. My wife and I have a group. We're still playing with the name, but it's something like Family Fun, you know, fun family, you know, something like that. Where every other week or once a month, we'll have like a bounce house, and we'll have like people out here at our, you know, our homestead, which is like a doubles as education center, to create that in-person thing, because more and more people are not going to be able to trust online. I mean, can you imagine when there's a deep fake? That's like common. Like deep fakes are already getting bad. Like we're going to hit the point where people can't even trust online. And the reason that I make videos and I do the online stuff is just to show people like, look, this is what I stand for. And quick, before it's too late, like, let's connect. The future's offline. We're going to have clubhouses in cities all around the world. A clubhouse is a place where you can come every Saturday or every Sunday, come hang out with real people in the flesh, hang out, get outside your comfort zone, meet people, make friends. If you're single, looking for a partner, you could meet them there. You know, we do workshops. Some people will bring food, play games, just have a blast together. But then we talk about real stuff. We talk about principles. We talk about what's important. We support each other. You know, if you're going through some hardships or whatever, like, come hang out. I mean, you got to be open-minded. Like if you're just there to complain, like someone's going to bring you to the side and be like, look, this ain't the place to just complain. You know, if you need to vent a little bit, that's fine. But it's like, we're here for real solutions. Okay. So will you change in time? I know many of you watching this, you've already made the decision to commit to change, and then you just have to walk the process daily. Some of you are still on the fence. Some of you, your life's got to smack you up a bit more. But I'm going to encourage you to change and get ahead of it. Like if you're running a marathon, ideally, by halfway through the marathon, you're ahead of your pace. So in case something unexpected happens, or your shoe breaks or whatever, right? You're dehydrated, you need to slow down a little bit. Great, you're ahead of schedule. Let's stay ahead of schedule. And if you want help with doing that, reach out to me. I can show you what I do, how I support my wife, my son. We can have many kids, support this community, keep growing it. It's not about me being special. It's not about the people that I work with being special. It's just, we have some tools that work really well. And we can literally stay ahead of this thing so that AI and all of it works out well. And it actually helps us solve a lot of the world's problems. But right now, if the average person is so brainwashed that they can't even like focus on like, how could I do good in the world? And you just care about money, guess who? Like when you just care about your self-interest, guess what you're participating in? The whole issues in the world. Because you're creating it, because you're allowing it. And then guess what's going to happen to the AI? If it's created with the starting point of self-interest, you know what'll happen to that? When we shift, saying, okay, well, what's actually best for me would be best for everyone. What's best for everyone would actually be best for me because we're in this together. Well, let's play on that level. But you can't underestimate how brainwashed you are. It's crazy. It's crazy how much is in there from your life. We're still accepting and allowing a lot of limitations. So the cool thing is you can change it. There's no shortcut, but there's a direct path. So if you want the direct path, let's connect. I look forward to chatting with you and appreciate you listening. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. All right. See you.